This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
This is the United States of America that I'm representing. I'm not representing the globe. I'm representing your country.
President Trump continues to tout a message of America first, increasing his attacks on the media, which his chief strategist calls the opposition party. This comes amid a week of controversial decisions, from the repeal of protections for transgender students to an increase in deportations and the nuclear arsenal. Tonight we break down week 5 of the Trump administration. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Conan. Welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the Trump administration's 5th week coming up. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin tonight in Manatee County, where a mother on trial for the death of her 4-year-old son has been found guilty. Diana Marr was convicted of aggravated manslaughter in the death of her son Alexander. The boy was found dead in his home 2 years ago. An autopsy showed he suffered from traumatic injuries to his head and chest. During her trial, jurors were shown graphic images of Alexander. Marr's attorney asked jurors not to let the pictures influence them, but it appears the plea didn't make a difference.
You cannot be persuaded by your feelings and your emotions just because of what you see and what you know.
The most basic responsibility of a parent is to protect and care for their child. Diana Marr did not do that on April 11th and 12th, 2015.
Marr could face up to 30 years in prison. Marr's boyfriend, Trevor Cardarell, was also at home at the time. He was found guilty of culpable negligence. Now a follow-up on former Sarasota County Sheriff's Deputy Frank Bybee, who was accused of attempting to murder an elderly woman. Today, Bybee's lawyer entered a plea of not guilty on more than 20 charges. Bybee is scheduled to appear for a hearing on March 16th. He had worked for the sheriff's office for 18 years. Now to Charlotte County, where a corrections officer is being disciplined after an inmate claims the deputy put a satanic curse on him. According to our partners at the Sun-Herald, Deputy Joseph Ozinga rearranged cards in a prisoner's solitaire game to line up as 666. Apparently, the deputy did it as a joke, but the Internal Affairs team didn't think it was funny. He is charged with conduct unbecoming and a violation of procedure. Ozinga was suspended for a day and given 6 months probation. After more than a year and a half of work, the new Fort Hammer Bridge is almost done. Project management says it is 75% complete. The $32 million bridge will connect Lakewood Ranch and Parish. The bridge is needed to keep up with the population boom in Manatee County.
It's going to alleviate a lot of traffic off of I-75. It's also going to help commuters from Parish get to Lakewood Ranch quicker. It's also going to provide first responders with a more direct route to get to people that they need to get to.
If everything goes according to plan, the bridge will be finished this summer. We're not talking about skyscrapers, but taller buildings may be coming to Longboat Key. Commissioners are considering easing height restrictions on some buildings. The proposal would give developers more flexibility to remodel some buildings with the permission of the commission. The current height limit is 65 feet. The Planning Commission is recommending it be raised to 80 feet. As long as the building is set back from the road, it would only apply to approximately 50 properties. We are the land of sun, sand, and roundabouts. But when severe storms move in, are our beloved circles an obstacle to residents on the barrier islands getting to safety? There are plans to build 3 roundabouts along Fruitville Road, which is the main route to the interstate for those evacuating Lido and Longboat Key. The state says expected traffic during an evacuation would actually be lighter than rush hour.
We can show that we can move the traffic through the corridor just as efficiently with the roundabouts than without the roundabouts. You know, we think it's safer for emergency personnel people as well.
Roundabouts are being proposed for the intersections at Lemon, Coconut, and Central Avenues. Mardi Gras is returning to Manatee County and its community of Ribonia after being canceled for the past 2 years. The festival kicks off with a parade tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, beginning on Bayshore Road in Ribonia. The annual event began in 1980 but was canceled the previous 2 years because of money. The recently reopened Rabonia Community Center will host celebrations up until 6 o'clock. And Bob, that looks good.
Yeah, the weather looks good too for all the events taking place outdoors this weekend and beyond for the most part. We'll talk more about that a little bit later, your full extended forecast. But right now, a great evening out there. Have some beautiful clear skies and temperatures still very warm at this hour, 70. The dew point 65 and winds are out of the northwest at 9. The pressure continues to rise at 29.82 inches, and it looks like that dew point temperature fairly high will allow some fog to form, and it could be rather thick at times, so look out for that tomorrow morning, especially early. And temperatures right now, well, it's warm across the state, really. 73 in Tallahassee, 74 Orlando, Miami at 75, and temperatures in the low 70s up and down the coastline, and mid to upper 70s, even some 80s still at this hour. Arcadia at 81 degrees, Wauchula at 78 away from the sea breeze. It is a little bit cooler through this evening. Temperatures will be down into the mid 60s with just a few clouds around. Not anticipating any kind of rain. As I mentioned, the fog will be late tonight. And as far as the webcam goes today, it was beautiful out there. Gorgeous weather this afternoon. Just a few fair weather cumulus clouds, mainly inland, and seas running less than 2 feet. Looks like similar boating conditions anticipated tomorrow, so enjoy it. It will be a little breezier on Sunday as a cold front slides through Saturday night and Sunday morning. That cold front not expected to do a whole lot. We'll see just a few clouds and maybe a sprinkle here and there Saturday night. It will turn breezy on Sunday, so boating will be a little bit worse.
Good weather for spring training.
Absolutely. Great weather. Fantastic out there.
All right, go Orioles. Thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, a new political order. That's how White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon is describing the Trump administration. When we return, we'll take you to CPAC, where President Trump is laying out his vision for the Republican Party.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Florida Studio Theater presents the Florida premiere of Brownsville Song, B-Side for Trey, now playing in the Gopperts Theater. Set against the gritty backdrop of rundown Brooklyn, Brownsville Song is a poignant and uplifting story of one family's courage and endurance. Based on real-life events, Kimberly's award-winning play sheds light on the strength of families in Brooklyn's inner city. Don't miss what critics are calling a powerful knockout that's performed with heart. Brownsville Song's now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting Florida Studio Theater.
Hurry in to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota for big savings on some of America's best vehicles. Come shop the Suncoast's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers. Get all the safety and security of a new Dodge Journey for as little as $16,599. Or stop by today and drive away in a 2017 Jeep Patriot for just $15,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
Florida's last private island is a waterfront lifestyle like no other. This is Harbor Isle, just 5 minutes from the sugar sand beaches of Anna Maria Island. This sun-splashed paradise invites you to enjoy natural adventures and all the recreation of a tropical resort. Island coach homes and waterfront condos are now available from the high 400s, plus incredible savings on move-in ready homes. Come tour 6 designer models. This is the time of your life. Make it island time at Harbor Isle. Go to mintofla.com now.
Contemporary Cabinetry and Closet Concepts. Our strength is in building a relationship with our clients. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years. When you organize your home, you simplify your life. Call today for a free in-home consultation or visit the web at contemporarycabinetry.srq.com.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner.
After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
Come out to the best party of the season, the Goodwill Mardi Gras Gala on February 28th at Michael's on E. Tickets at experiencegoodwill.org.
Last year, Donald Trump didn't even show up for the annual conservative confab called CPAC. Today, he was welcomed as the conquering hero. He laid out his principles in a speech that wasn't exactly conservative. CNN senior White House correspondent Jeff Zeleny reports.
Now you finally have a president. Finally. Took you a long time.
President Trump taking a victory lap today before a roaring crowd of conservative activists.
The forgotten men and women of America will be forgotten no longer. That is the heart of this new movement and the future of the Republican Party.
It's Mr. Trump's Republican Party now. His realignment of the GOP already underway. Hailed as a hero today at the annual Conservative Political Action Conference, Mr. Trump outlining his America First agenda that goes against the grain of recent Republican orthodoxy.
But there is no such thing as a global anthem, a global currency, or a global flag. This is the United States of America that I'm representing. I'm not representing the globe. I'm representing your country.
Welcome to CPAC 2016.
At this same gathering last year, just outside Washington, many conservatives recoiled at the idea of a Trump presidency. He canceled his appearance and, of course, went on to win.
He really doesn't belong at a conservative gathering. Donald Trump is not a conservative.
But it was here at CPAC 6 years ago where Trump's idea of running for the White House first sprang to life.
While I'm not at this time a candidate for the presidency, I will decide by June whether or not I will become one.
He stopped short of running back then, but his words sound prescient.
I will tell you the reason that I'm thinking about it is that the United States has become a whipping post for the rest of the world.
But now, after 5 weeks in office, the president is faced with making choices over which campaign pledges take priority and how he will pay for them.
We're also putting in a massive budget request for our beloved military. And we will be substantially upgrading all of our military, offensive, defensive, everything, bigger and better and stronger than ever before.
Carol Marino is an early Trump supporter from North Carolina, who for now is giving the president the benefit of the doubt that his agenda won't break the bank.
I'm not overly concerned that he's going to blow the deficit. I'm really not. I think he'll find the way to kind of shrink the waste and then use that someplace else.
Yet several other fiscal conservatives say they are carefully watching the price tag of Trump's agenda, even as he redefines the meaning of conservatism.
Well, you know, again, what is a conservative? I mean, I think that that's one of the questions that we're all debating at this conference.
It was clear today Mr. Trump isn't quite ready to let go of his campaign, even as those promises give way to the realities of governing.
Our victory was a win like nobody has ever seen before.
Blocking the media, deregulating industry, deporting immigrants, and taking away protections from transgender youth. It has been a busy week for the Trump administration, and when we return, we'll have analysis from a Democrat, a Republican, and a political reporter in a moment. We are taking it, yes, to the trapezoid.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Car experts and customers agree. There's a whole lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru was named the 2016 Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted, and Best Performance Brand by Kelley Blue Book. And ALG named Subaru its top mainstream brand for residual value for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month or get 0% financing during the Subaru True Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Come meet the artists and enjoy their creations at the St. Petersburg Fine Art Festival. Over 100 artists and thousands of works in contemporary art in photography, glass, sculpture, jewelry, and much more. The 4th Annual St. Petersburg Fine Art Festival, Saturday and Sunday, February 25th and 26th at North Straub Park in St. Petersburg. Bring your love and appreciation of art to the St. Petersburg Fine Art Festival. For more information, visit ParagonArtEvents.com.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back. Things move fast in the Trump administration. Let's catch you up on what happened this week. During a Florida rally on Saturday, President Trump seemed to claim there was a terrorist attack in Sweden. There wasn't. Vice President Mike Pence reaffirmed our commitment to NATO. Trump denounced the rise of anti-Semitism. He also scrapped an Obama-era rule protecting transgender students' right to use the bathroom with the identity of the sex that they identify with. We also saw a ramping up of deportations, an executive order to strip away federal regulations on business, and the blocking of certain media outlets from a press briefing. And joining us for more on the Trump administration's 5th week in office is Rita Ferrandino of the Sarasota County Democratic Party, Christian Ziegler, a Republican state committee man for Sarasota County, and Wendy March, a veteran political reporter and correspondent for the Tampa Bay Times. Welcome, everyone. You know, I put together this very complicated ledger before we went on the air of the week that was. And I put it into 2 columns. And Christian, I'm going to start with you. Because on one hand, we had the appointment of General McMaster as the new National Security Advisor, which both Republicans and Democrats applauded. I mean, this guy is a pretty impressive guy. He condemned a rise in anti-Semitism, better late than never. Vice President Pence and Secretary of Defense Mattis went to Europe and reaffirmed U.S. support in NATO. And the Secretary of State Tillerson went to Mexico and talked Turkey, whether or not you agree or not. I mean, that was a big trip. But on the other side of the ledger, and I know you want to talk about his accomplishments, he called the media enemy. He banned CNN from an off-camera briefing today. He rolled back transgender rights. He cracked down on marijuana. I said that the states will, like Florida, who passed it, and many other states, that the feds are going to enforce federal regulations. He tried to get the FBI to say nothing. There was nothing to the links with Russia, and the FBI refused to. And then there's that little incident in Sweden, which alluding that there was some kind of terrorist operation there, which came as a surprise to the Swedes. So, Christian, how do you balance these things?
Well, I think the American people, they elected Donald Trump, and what you're seeing is he's executing on what he promised, and point by point, and the first half of what you described, the second half, I mean, there's a lot of stuff there, like with calling the media the enemy. That's not actually true.
That's what he tweeted.
Well, if you read the tweet, the beginning of the tweet starts with, the fake news is your enemy. That's what it is, the fake news media, such as, and he lists them out. He lists out 3 or 4 of them, but he said fake news is the enemy. Now, obviously, the media is going to pull that out of context.
What is fake news?
And they want to say, fake news is inaccurate reporting, which they do frequently. And what happens in the media...
I don't want to get argumentative.
Yeah. And I'd love for us to just pull it up, because I really don't think that's the case.
Pull it up. I'd love it.
Is there a difference? You know, I've made mistakes in reporting of news. Fake news is the term that was coined to describe what the Russians were doing, which was basically creating news stories and placing them in social media feeds.
Well, see, the media has a responsibility to cover the issues. Now, what you see with a lot of the media, where there's frustration, at least with conservatives and Republicans, is you guys generate the content, and then you generate context with that content. And a lot of the context you do is very skewed over to the left, and it's supporting Democrats. And I think we've seen that. They're the first to jump and attack, Trump on something silly as, MLK's bust isn't in the Oval Office, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. But guess what? Guess what gets covered there?
That's called an error.
Well, it's an error, but what happens is when they report that and they all these media outlets go out there and they cover it, they throw it in their headlines, and then guess what? A couple hours later he says, oops, sorry, I was wrong, and that does not get covered. And the American people are frustrated with that, and they're frustrated with how the media chooses, picks and chooses on what
our
they're
other
covering.
guests to join the conversation.
Yeah, thanks. Others of us would like to speak, especially since we have two journalists
I
here.
just want to make one last point.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the FBI investigating the contacts between the Trump campaign and Russia, those facts are not being disputed.
Well, but even if you see what happened right there, actually
And
the
the
stories...
rest of the world is reporting on the same news. So the fake news aspect was just a pivot to get away from the real issue, which was what is Russia doing?
No, because that
it's
FBI
clear,
story...
I think, Alan, that when Donald Trump says fake news, he basically means any story that he doesn't like and that doesn't make him look good. On several occasions now, including the New York Times story on contact between his campaign and Russia, he has labeled stories fake news while acknowledging that they were basically true or not denying them. Now,
Just let him speak.
When he says, when Donald Trump refers to 4 of the 5 major national news networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, and CNN, plus the New York Times, plus the Washington Post as fake news, and then when he expands that definition to include the LA Times and others who were excluded from the press briefing today, then pretty obviously he's not talking about it. The term fake news has lost the meaning it originally had.
Are you, Wendy, are you concerned about the overall impact that this is going to have on hardworking journalists like yourself who have worked for a long time in terms of covering politics, covering issues, and whether or not your readers are going to believe what you have to write?
Well, the belief in the news media is an odd sort of a duck to try to gauge. If you poll it nationwide, it doesn't look good. People say the media is wrong. But if you ask them about the particular source of news that they use, they trust it. So, like, what I think you're going to see is you're going to see reporters who may get cut off of the access that they've enjoyed in the past to high-level political figures. They'll just have to do reporting a different way.
All right, we are just getting started. We'll have more on President Trump's 5th week in office coming up right after a check on our weather.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair. Where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500 starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Hurry in to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota for big savings on some of America's best vehicles. Over 100 standard and available safety features make the new Chrysler Pacifica a safe investment for any family. And right now, you can buy one for just $24,999 or save up to $11,000 on a new Ram Crew Cab during Ram Truck Month. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Our discussion of the Trump administration continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on our weather from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Earlier this week, Alan, you talked about red tide in your discussion, and I tell you, we had the latest report from the FWC, and it is expanding now its coverage across the entire Suncoast, for that matter, from Anna Maria, a little bit more activity there now, and then also near New Pass and Big Pass, stretching all the way down into Boca Grande. Now, the news is there's more spots showing up as red tide, but not in the high concentration, but still pretty high nonetheless. We're talking about medium to low concentrations all up and down west central Florida, and even low concentrations enough to kill fish. Here's a close-up look showing you just near Inglewood and also near Manasota Key. We have some moderate concentrations also near New Pass and Big Pass, near Siesta Key, some hints of red tide. So it's not all over the beaches, but there are spots there that will cause problems. And then all the way up to Anna Maria, we're showing up with moderate concentrations all the way to Longboat Key Pass. Now, beautiful day today. Fair weather cumulus clouds out there. We get this from Cindy Desmond from the Celery Fields. Beautiful shot there. Anna Maria webcam showing calm conditions out there over the waters and lots of sunshine too. And in fact, we're going to see decent weather over the weekend with temperatures pretty warm. Today's highs were in the low to mid 80s, and we could see some upper 80s to near 90 degrees next week as high pressure builds in behind a weak frontal system. You can see this front slicing through Arkansas all the way down now into Louisiana. There's not much to it though. This front will be on our doorstep late Saturday and bring with it just some clouds. Not a lot of rainfall anticipated with it. And in fact, temperatures behind it are not all that cold. On Sunday, highs will still be above average. It'll be a little drier, though, out there. Right now, 70 degrees, comfortable out there at Sarasota. Same in Bradenton and in Venice. The high today, 82 degrees officially at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport, 5 degrees shy of the record set back in 2001. We could use a little bit of rainfall. The next chance for rain won't come until next week, Thursday and Friday. Temperatures right now, upper 60s to low 70s down the coast. Siesta Key now at 71. Rotunda at 69. Well, for boaters, looks good. Tomorrow, Sunday, different story. So if you want to go boating, the best day will be Saturday. Winds out of the west-northwest, 5 to 10. They'll be up to 20 on Sunday. Seas running 1 to 2 feet and a light chop on the bays and inland waters. Let's check that forecast out for you right now. 7-day looks good. Sunshine and breezy conditions on Sunday. And then 80-degree temperatures through Thursday of next week. Good chance of rain comes late Thursday and Friday of next week. Alan will be back with a panel right after this. Stick around.
Luxury for less at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sports Utility for $249 per month or 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota Bradenton Airport on US 41.
There's a whole new way to bank at Achieva Credit Union with Achieva Checking Plus. Get new unique features like full ID theft protection and online shopping rewards. Plus, it's an interest-bearing account, so you have a little extra for what really matters. Achieva Checking Plus isn't just an account for your money, it's for your life, including cell phone insurance. And that's good to know. Discover the plus at achievacu.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Robotic surgery is changing medicine. The robot has better vision than a human. You can see 10 times better magnification than the human eye, but it takes a human eye to run the machine. In fact, it takes multiple human eyes to treat a patient. We've perfected the team, we've perfected the procedure, and the more experienced the team, the better the quality outcome.
Florida Studio Theater presents the Florida premiere of Brownsville Song, B-Side for Trey, now playing in the Gompertz Theater. Set against the gritty backdrop of rundown Brooklyn, Brownsville Song is a poignant and uplifting story of one family's courage and endurance. Based on real-life events, Kimberly's award-winning play sheds light on the strength of families in Brooklyn's inner city. Don't miss what critics are calling a powerful knockout that's performed with heart. Brownsville Song's now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting Florida Studio Theater.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing the week at the White House, and our guests tonight are Sarasota Democratic Party member Rita Ferrandino, Republican State Committee man Christian Ziegler, and political reporter Wendy March. Christian, I want to start with you. What is your take in terms of the rollback, in terms of the transgender issue? After last spring, I believe it was President Obama who gave directions to school departments across the country that they were to allow transgender students to use the bathrooms of the sex they identify with.
Well, again, when you look at this transgender issue, you have the media out there, and we want to talk about fake news and context and creating context.
No, you want to talk about the fake news.
Well, no, that was brought up. That was brought up a previous segment. But what's happening is the media says that this is a transgender bathroom issue, and that's not necessarily accurate. That's a portion of it. Elementary schools, we can talk bathrooms. Middle schools, you start talking about overnight trips with boys sleeping where girls are and girls sleeping where boys are. And then you look at high school sports, you have boys wrestling girls and girls wrestling, you know, that's when you start looking at this ban or this transgender guidance, if you will, that's what it was doing. So all Trump did was say, let's leave it up to the states because every area is different. And again, pushing that control and that directive down to the state level.
But with so much on his agenda, is this the battle he wants to get into?
I think this is an important battle. This was a national discussion last year when it came up. It was a heated discussion, even locally here in Sarasota County, all across the country. This is an important issue, especially for conservatives and Republicans, and he's delivering on it.
I think an important issue is to be talking about his commitment he made to bringing jobs to this country. And I don't think we've seen much of that. I think we've seen in the last 5 weeks an administration where the leader has a gun-style approach where he's got factions within his administration. He is actively discussed that.
Hold on.
Consumer confidence is at the highest it's been in a decade in the United States under Trump.
His presidential numbers are the lowest we've seen in the last.
But we're talking about the economy. When it comes to jobs, people have a lot of confidence in this president.
There's another area I want to get to, but Rita, the man's been in office for a little bit more than 30 days, so you would not have concrete results in terms of job numbers.
I'm talking about his agenda that he has put forth. We're seeing a lot of conversation about deportation. We're seeing this transgender issue. I want to see what's he doing to bring more jobs into the U.S.
One of the first steps he took was to get us out of TPP, and that's why the Democratic Party lost the election, because Democratic leaders across the country, including yourself right here, ignore the workers right in middle America, and TPP benefits them. He got us out of that unfair deal, and that's going to bring jobs, and that's what the workers of America care about.
Wendy, how is this playing amongst the Democratic and Republican faithful on the Suncoast? I mean, are we still in a situation that Republicans who voted for Trump are staying with them, and
Absolutely.
the Democrats are completely out in the wilderness?
Absolutely. I can't narrow it down to the Tampa Bay area, but statewide, at least, polling shows that something like 80% Republicans approve of the job he's doing. On the other side, again, and I've said this on this show before over the last few weeks, we're seeing what to me is a really unusual blossoming of grassroots movements by people who are not previously involved in politics, and some of it comes from this that Chris got right there, a thing called the Indivisible movement. This week I interviewed a woman who is a working mother who organized the mock town hall meeting for Marco Rubio. She has a new baby and a job, and she organized a gathering of like 600 or 700 people. It exceeded the capacity of the room. She did it on her own. She's never been involved in politics, never been to a political party meeting before, never been to a campaign meeting. That's unusual It is difficult, though, for me as a reporter to gauge how big, how intense, how strong that is, and whether it will last.
Well, it was difficult for reporters to gauge back in 2010 what the impact of the Tea Party would be.
Or for that matter, the impact of the Trump movement. Grassroots movements of this kind, they're very tough for me sitting there with my cell phone to pin them down and describe concretely whether they're real or just evanescent.
And Christian, are you going to make the case that with the handbook that you have there that's been distributed by Indivisible, that this is all basically top-down and not bottom-up?
It is. That's a portion of it. I think the biggest thing that makes it different than the Tea Party is in 2010, I worked in Congress, so I saw the Tea Party engage with Congress, and what was happening there that really put fear in Congress were the Republicans, because this was a core part of their base. What's different now is the people that are coming out, these are people that aren't going to vote for those congressmen or women anyway. They're on the left, they're Democrats, they're frustrated with how the election came out, and really all they're doing, and this is a guide here, and this is going to create frustration around the country, is people are frustrated that Congress isn't doing their job, and all they're doing is they put out a whole guide here. This is a great, document that they have here, or the way they laid it out. It's going to maybe be effective, but what they're doing is they're trying to obstruct Congress. And we have so many important things like jobs, immigration, national security.
Let me ask both of you about that, because I saw an interview today with a Republican congressman, I believe from either Alabama or Mississippi, who believes that this is going to slow down the repeal of Obamacare because he claims some of Republicans who are in swing districts, quote, don't have the backbone because of everything that we're seeing at these town hall meetings.
Absolutely. And I want to just take a minute to echo that. I think we're seeing this grassroots movement is real. Today I was getting my hair cut. There was probably 10 or 15 women that was in and out of the salon. The number one thing everyone talked about was their fear of what was going to happen to public education, their fear about what was going to happen with health care. When typically you're in getting your haircut and what they're all talking about is where they're going to take their next vacation or how their kids are doing in school. And there's definitely among women, the woman who cleans my pool, spectacular woman, knocked on my door and said, what can I do to get involved? To Wendy's point, we're seeing a lot of women who are not engaged, who are looking to become engaged because they in particular feel that their rights are really at risk. So we're going to see what happens, and it isn't obstructionism to be questioning what Congress is doing. That is what democracy is about.
I agree,
and that's what democracy looks like.
I agree, but if you actually read the document, what they say in there is they lay out a plan to obstruct, to hold up Congress from getting the important stuff done, not just to express their views. And what's important to remember, too, is just because this exists doesn't mean it's going to be effective.
Wendy, it sounds like basically what happened in 2010 with the Tea Party.
Well, it is. I have read it, and what most of it is about is what are the techniques that are most likely to actually influence your Congress member, and what are the techniques that will not influence him. It's basically, it's written by some former congressional staffers, advice to citizens on how can you actually affect your Congress member as opposed to throwing out some sort of communication that he'll laugh off. To Rita, I got to say, I believe, Rita, that only time will tell whether this movement is real. I just am seeing some interesting things that I hadn't seen before in terms of grassroots reaction, and Republican Congress members are worried about it. During the past recess, Vern Buchanan, rather than hold a town hall meeting, which is something he does frequently and brags that he does frequently,
and we're anxious to have him do again.
Vern holds so many town halls. He was in Afghanistan visiting the troops. That's the truth.
And I'll tell you what, why don't we close on that issue in a moment, but we have to take a quick break. When we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests, plus what some of our viewers are saying about the criminal justice system and the media with Donald Trump.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help. I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Come meet the artists and enjoy their creations at the St. Petersburg Fine Art Festival. Over 100 artists and thousands of works in contemporary art, in photography, glass, sculpture, jewelry, and much more.
The 4th Annual St. Petersburg Fine Art Festival, Saturday and Sunday, February 25th and 26th at North Straub Park in St. Petersburg.
Bring your love and appreciation of art to the St. Petersburg Fine Art Festival. For more information, visit ParagonArtEvents.com.
Welcome back. What message from the White House stood out to our guests this week? And they join us right now for final thoughts. And I would vote for the fact that the president took issue with a lot of the tenor at the town hall meetings that are going around the country. We've all seen the videotape, including here in the Tampa Bay area. But Wendy, as you said before the break, Congressman Buchanan has not had one.
Well, I was mentioning him only as one example. Marco Rubio went to Europe also, came back sort of in secret Wednesday night. Dennis Ross, who represents a large chunk of Hillsborough and Whatcom County. That's right, you know him well. He held a town hall meeting, but it was way up in Lake County, far from the populated areas of his district. Meanwhile, Gus Bilirakis held 3 meetings. Listening sessions, he called them. He was sort of the exemplar, maybe, of how a Republican could have or should have handled these things. But all across the nation, Republicans are avoiding these gatherings to a degree that they haven't previously.
Christian, I'll give you a chance, but Rita, I'll let you go first.
I think the fact that it's week 5 and we've not ever had a bar this low for our expectations for a president of the United States. And I think the fact is people are watching how many days he'll go without tweeting something that could set off, you know, world explosions. So I
guess, Christian, I know you're very proud in terms of how the president is moving the agenda that he campaigned on. Do you at all get concerned about when we're talking about all these other things that seem to be distractions from what he's trying to do?
No, I care about what the president does. And you look at Donald Trump during the entire campaign. He focused on his campaign, he focused on his message. Every once in a while he'd tweet something out and the media would be hysteric. And guess what? He kept pounding away in the campaign and he won. And that's what you're going to see happen with America is, you know, all the media, they're kind of focused on all these shiny objects and that's where their attention goes. And meanwhile, he's signing executive orders, he's meeting with individuals. You have, again, consumer confidence going up. You have the Dow Jones going up. The economy's starting to look good. And he's executing to a T what he promised.
All right, we have to leave it there. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about the White House's decision to block certain news agencies from today's press briefing. CNN, Politico, the New York Times, and LA Times were blocked from an off-camera gaggle at the White House. The Associated Press and Time Magazine were granted access but declined in protest. Outlets friendly to the administration like Fox News and Breitbart were allowed in, and here's what some of our viewers are saying about that. Robin Cooper writes, "It is straight out of the authoritarian playbook. Cheryl Schieffer writes, no, it's about the time that Trump is our president and he is going to save our country. Get smart, America. And Kevin Komanga writes, suppression of the free press is a slippery slope. And Susan Rizzo writes, White House cherry picks the press for the first time ever. Even Ari Fisher disagrees with this. He said it was unwise and counterproductive for the press secretary to keep them out. What are you thinking about the week in the White House? Let us know by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/news7. And FYI, want to watch past roundtable discussions? They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to our guests for being here tonight. Rita Ferrandino is with the Sarasota County Democratic Party. Christian Ziegler is a Republican state committee man for Sarasota County. And Wendy March is a veteran political reporter who works as a correspondent for the Tampa Bay Times. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather, plus a moral obligation. Despite the Trump administration rolling back protections for transgender students, some South Florida school districts are defying the order. The details in our primetime headlines.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Car experts and customers agree. There's a whole lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru offers more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And Subaru had the best resale value of all brands for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Forester for just $209 a month or get 0% financing during the Subaru True Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Hurry in to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota for big savings on some of America's best vehicles. Come shop the Suncoast's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers. Get all the safety and security of a new Dodge Journey for as little as $16,599. Or stop by today and drive away in a 2017 Jeep Patriot for just $15,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Your primetime headlines are coming up, but right now let's get a final check on our weather with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Beautiful day today throughout the afternoon. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures warming up, too. The Van Wezel webcam taking you through time this afternoon. You can see the seas and pretty calm out there throughout Sarasota Bay as the sun set. A nice sunset tonight, but not as spectacular as when there's some clouds around that really light up the sky, but nonetheless not bad. We have a storm system making its way through parts of the upper Mississippi Valley right now. This is going to move off to the northeast and severe weather possible with these storms out ahead of it. Typically this time of year you're talking about snowfall, but we're talking severe weather because temperatures are so warm out ahead of that actual front. And for us, no rainfall around. It's going to be a dry weekend. We'll see maybe a sprinkle or two late Saturday with a front coming through, but this front is not going to cool us down much at all. 70, it's beautiful out there right now at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. And clear skies, dew point is at 65. That's pretty high. And winds are out of the northwest at 9. They're lessening somewhat. The pressure 29.82 inches. And as far as the forecast goes, we are anticipating some temperatures to warm up throughout the day. Tomorrow, 82 degrees the high today. That's well above the average. The record 87. And as far as the forecast goes, you can see we're looking at generally fair skies overnight. Some fog forming late. And tomorrow's high temperatures will warm into the mid to upper 70s. Near the beaches, upper 70s to low 80s, it looks like, on and through the inland areas. We could even see some mid 80s tomorrow. Well, here's the forecast. The front comes down into the panhandle, a few showers there, some fog around, and we'll see a decent day, though. The fog will burn off with some low clouds around. The front clears down into South Florida on Sunday, but we'll look at high pressure building in both at the surface and the upper levels of the atmosphere, which will allow temperatures to soar on into Tuesday We're talking highs in the mid to upper 80s in places east of I-75. Elsewhere across the U.S., again, the snow and rain mix earlier in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Also some snow falling in Wisconsin and Iowa. Thunderstorm watch continues for parts of Ohio, Toledo, Detroit, all the way down into Cincinnati this evening. Out west, there's a break right now, but they are anticipating some showers for the Academy Awards on Sunday. For boaters, looks like this. Winds will be out of the west, northwest at 5 to 10 knots, and seas running 1 to 2 feet, and a light chop on the bays and inland waters, a little bit windier on Sunday. The extended forecast calling for breezy conditions on Sunday, but plenty of sunshine, staying warm through Friday with a chance for showers come Friday. Primetime headlines with Alan coming up next.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like cell phone protection for 3 phones, plus an interest-bearing account. And that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Are you paying too much for your cable or satellite TV? The U.S. government passed a bill mandating free over-the-air digital transmission of all broadcast network television channels. That means with the new TV Freeway digital antenna, you can get free HD programming from your favorite broadcast networks 24/7 without a bill. You just plug it into the back of your TV and start watching all of your favorite broadcast programs for free. There are no contracts to sign, no hidden fees, and no monthly fees. Just free HD broadcast TV. Take it with you anywhere. Call or go online now to get your TV Freeway stick for the incredibly low price of only $14.99. But wait, call or click now and you can get a second TV Freeway stick for a second TV. Just pay a separate fee, but you have to order right now.
Call 1-800-809-5196 to get your TV Freeway. Call now or go to tvfreeway.com. So call 1-800-809-5196. This offer's not in any store. Call now.
Join us for Sarasota Opera's 2017 Winter Festival, opening February 11th. Featuring Puccini's most famous opera, Madame Butterfly, Rossini's delightful comedy, The Italian Girl in Algiers, Poulenc's heartbreaking Dialogues of the Carmelites, and the medieval thriller The Love of Three Kings by Italo Montemezzi. Tickets are on sale now. Call 941-328-1300 or visit sarasotaopera.org.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair. Where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
There's a whole new way to bank with Achieva Checking Plus. You get new features like full ID theft protection, and that's good to know. Discover all the benefits at AchievaCU.com. Achieva, banking for good. Achieva Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Now for your primetime headlines. As we discuss, the war between President Trump and the media continues, with several outlets, including CNN, banned from a press briefing. This comes as the president continues to make good on his campaign promises. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest.
President Trump started off his day criticizing the media at the Conservative Political Action Conference.
The fake news doesn't tell the truth. It never will represent the people. And we're going to do something about it.
Hours later, many media outlets, including CNN, the New York Times, and the LA Times, were not allowed to attend an off-camera, invite-only meeting with White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. The White House Correspondents Association is, quote, protesting strongly against the action, and the Associated Press and Time boycotted the informal briefing. The White House telling ABC, who did attend the meeting along with NBC and CBS, that it did not purposefully deny entry to any outlet, but rather certain outlets were specifically invited.
Because we had a pool and then we expanded it. We added some folks to come cover it.
Meanwhile, President Trump continues to act on campaign promises, signing an executive order today on regulatory reform, directing government agencies to set up task forces to find ways to eliminate or scale back regulations.
Every regulation should have to pass a simple test. Does it make life better or safer for American workers or consumers?
and moving forward with his travel ban. Last month, the president tweeted that 109 people were detained or held for questioning during a 27-hour period due to the ban. But today, the administration gave a list of people detained or processed to lawyers that included 746 people. And we can expect to hear a lot more about that travel ban as the new revised version is expected from the White House sometime next week. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump may have rescinded President Obama's order mandating schools allow transgender students to use the bathroom of the gender they identify with. He says it is best left to the states and school districts, but now the Miami-Dade and Broward County school districts are doing just that, the opposite. Both are keeping protections in place for transgender students. Miami-Dade superintendent tweeting, "We will not allow any of our students to be pushed back into the dark corner of fear, intimidation, or discrimination." Florida Supreme Court is ruling in favor of a Planned Parenthood facility in Kissimmee, allowing doctors at the clinic to perform abortions and sonograms. The High Court is overturning a lower court decision blocking the health center from offering the procedures. The case started when 2 anti-abortion doctors sued, saying the property restrictions written 30 years ago prohibit the complex from being used as an outpatient surgical center. Meanwhile, legislators are filing a bill to make it harder for voters to change the Florida Constitution. The proposal would require ballot measures to receive the support of 2/3 of voters before a change can be made. Right now, 60% of voters have to support a measure for it to be approved. The state senator filing the bill says groups often use the amendment process when they don't get what they want from lawmakers.
This is the village industry of how to go around the legislature. You know, and the answer is always, well, what do you do when they're unresponsive? Well, no is a response. And if it's not time or we don't believe that's the way to go with an issue, you shouldn't be able to just go around and try to stick it in the state constitution.
Ballot measures used to only need 50% support. It was raised back to 60% in 2006. Now to New Tampa, where a fire at a mosque is now being investigated as arson. The fire broke out around 2 o'clock this morning at the Islamic Society of New Tampa. No one was injured, but there was damage. According to the Center for American Islamic Relations, the fire started at a door to the prayer hall. There was smoke and water damage inside. Surveillance cameras are installed throughout the property, and investigators will review the footage. Finally tonight, NASA is weighing the risk of adding astronauts to the first flight of its new mega rocket. The Trump administration requested a feasibility study. It will be the most powerful rocket ever built and is intended to take us to the moon and even Mars. NASA plans to have a test flight late next year. Putting people on board would delay the mission and require extra money. The report is expected to be completed next month. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.